quality in this car, and it finally feels, especially in the STI, you're looking at a car that's almost 40 grand. It feels like it's worth that, which is really nice. Backseat space in this car, same as the 2015 WRX. Very roomy, very, very nice, and yeah, no complaints there whatsoever. Trunk space is also very generous. Like I said with the 2015 WRX review again, I don't know how you could ask for much more from a sedan. It's enormous and plenty of room, unless you're looking for a hatchback. I know there's no 5-door version of this car. That drives some people insane. Unfortunately, maybe we'll get it sometime in the future, but for now, that is plenty of space. For a sedan, it's really good. Alright, so let's start up and go for a drive. So it's just a standard key still, Subaru sticking to the basics here. And so yeah, you just slip it in and turn the key. Alright, so setting off at the 2015 STI. This is something you guys have been waiting to see from me. So, first impressions. Well, first things, you look at that rearview mirror, and you see that huge spoiler, which is a hilarious reminder of what kind of car you're driving here. It's really funny. Other visibility, though, is excellent. Forward visibility, the windshield's huge, side windows are huge. Like I said, you benefit from the same basic architecture as the Impreza, which is a very safe and, it was built with safety in mind, so you have great visibility, which is nice. Other things you notice, this is a brand new car. Essentially, it has 357 miles on it as I'm driving it now. So, everything takes a little getting used to. The clutch and everything can be a little tricky, but it's not too bad. One thing, though, that's really apparent right from the very beginning is this shifter. It's very precise, but the throats are so short, it's interesting. I mean, like, third and fifth are really, really close together. Like, I just went into fifth accidentally when I was looking for third. Again, this is just very first impression, so it might get better the more that I drive it, but that's just something that stands out right away, is the shifter is very closely spaced. Another thing is, this has the same EJ25 out of the STI, the same one it's had for the past 10 years, but they've kind of increased the noise. I think there's an induction tube, kind of like the BRZ, where it pipes in intake sound, and that's just to give you a little bit more of a experience, but you can kind of hear it as the turbo's spooling up. It's funny. It sounds really sweet, though. It sounds way better than any of the other previous generations of the STI, and this is stock, so imagine you have an exhaust on this, it'd be even better. But it really makes this car more exciting stock, because stock STIs were always silent, and really, you couldn't hear anything at all. So it's nice that now you can finally have some good induction noise. That's very refreshing. Alright, so let's turn on to this background here and see how it does. Okay, so it's quick. Yes, it's very quick indeed, and it's a different sensation to the WRX, because the WRX, that's a totally different motor now, and it's very progressive in the way it builds boost. This one, it still takes a little bit to spool up, and it's fun. It's the same classic STI recipe. I know a lot of people, including myself, wish that this car was faster, had more horsepower for 2015, or had a different engine or something, and we can go talking all day about that till we're blue in the face, but bottom line is this is what they decided to do, and it's still fun, and it's great for tuners and all that kind of stuff, because it's the same motor, all the parts swap over and everything's easy. So and it's still fun. It's still plenty fast, obviously. That was a very quick acceleration run to an unspecified mile per hour. I'm not going to disclose. So let's see about this power again, shall we? I'll do a second gear full this time. Yes, it's Alright, so while I'm stuck behind this slow car, I'll give you some other simple impressions. And the first is that the steering wheel is much better than the standard WRX. It has a lot more of a meatier feel to it. It really makes a lot nicer to cover up these roads, because the WRX, the chassis and everything, the suspension was set up so wonderfully that it felt very, very capable, but the steering just seemed a little light. It's finally heavy, and I like that. It's really nice to feel. And I haven't pushed it hard yet, but you can just tell the car is so composed, and it's just a joy to drive on this battery. The boost threshold, though, is definitely higher on this car than it is on the WRX. Like I said, it doesn't really start getting meaty until over 3 degrees. starts to finally spool. You know, if you want tons of torque or something right on demand by V8, you know, this being a turbocharged motor, I think it's fun. It adds drama and excitement in the theater because you're waiting for it to spool up and what's funny next until it spools and, you know, plants your head in the headrest, and that's always fun. Alright, it's coming up to this very tight corner here. See how spotty it is. Yeah, it just handled that no problem. Holy crap. That was steering better than I expected. Wow, okay. So, it just took that, like, yeah, what do you got next? Like, nothing. I mean, so you do pay a little bit of a price for this insane handling, and that is that this is a little stiffer than the WRX. The WRX was really refined. It reminded me a lot of like the Audi S4 as far as just how sharp it was and just how planted it was, but it was comfortable and smooth. This isn't quite as comfortable or smooth, but when you're buying an SUV, you're going just crazy. You're going all out, and you're not trying to compromise. You just want a comfortable car. You're looking for something that's insane, and this is insane. I mean, it's not beating me up. It's, you know, the ride quality is fine. It's just a little more communicative, and like I said, you feel absolutely. If you were hitting potholes and stuff left and right, it might get a little tiresome. But it's I think it's worth it for the additional handling. Alright, so anyway, I'm gonna keep driving this car for a little while longer here, and I'll go back and give you some updated impressions. So I've been driving this car for a while now, and it is a rush. Holy crap, this thing is such a good handler. It used to be the STIs were pretty good, but you had to do some stuff in the aftermarket to really make them feel buttoned down. Not the case. I don't even see any reason why you'd have to modify this thing unless you want more straight line speed, but the handling is 10 out of 10, top notch, done, don't even have to do anything to it. Seriously, it's that good. It's really impressive. I'm on one of my favorite roads here ever. Basically, it's an amazing road, and I'm pushing this car pretty hard, and I can't reach the limits. It makes you feel like you're invincible. It really does. It's insane just how potent and competent this car is. It's just really a fun car. I mean, these are some sharp corners, and it's just digging in and just going for it. I mean, these tires are really great too. They're, you know, a lot of what helps make this car such a good handler. But I mean, the suspension setup is really great. And I already mentioned it's a little stiffer than the standard WRX, which is to be expected. But honestly, I mean, I've been on these roads and they're not all buttery smooth, and it's still fine. Like, as a daily driver, this is still totally tolerable. Not like it beats you up or anything. It's still smoother than the BRZ's suspension was for sure. So, yeah, really a nice ride. And, you know, I've been really trying to pick apart and just slowing down here and chilling a little bit. You know, this and the 2015 WRX. And is this worth almost $8,000 extra? And, you know, it just depends on what you want, I think. You know, because this car, obviously, yes, I mean, the WRX was really sharp, but it was also really smooth. The limits were definitely lower. I could tell that. The limits are higher. It's more aggressive. It's more exciting. I love the sophisticated power band of the 2015 WRX, and, you know, how it comes on lower, but it still has the punch. It's still fun. But this motor just sounds great still. And I mean, you know, so many people are saying they're missing, you know, the standard WRX, you don't get the unequal length headers anymore. And so having the signature boxer sound in this car, I mean, it's fun, like I said. It just depends. If you really hammer on back roads all the time hard, then it's probably worth the money. But the standard WRX is so good on its own that I think you'd be plenty happy just with that. But, you know, it is nice to, you know, have the adjustable diff controls and things like that. But, you know, there are trade-offs. For example, this motor being so old, you get pretty crappy gas mileage in this car. You know, you're going to get, you know, low 20s at best probably. And, you know, so whereas in the new WRX with its new engine that's sophisticated, efficient, you get, you know, 30s and stuff. So, I mean, just a trade-off. So it just depends on, you know, if you're really worried about, you know, the ownership costs, then you'd want to go with the WRX. But I'm not going to sit here and compare the two because I don't have them to directly compare back and forth. But I know a lot of people would just be curious to see how this compares to the WRX because, like I said, it is a good chunk of change more. You know what? You can't go wrong with it. Tons of fun. I mean, you just go on back roads faster than you really should be able to. Physics should not allow you to do this. Okay, a crazy thought, but the way that this handles it like defies physics. It almost feels like the GTR, where these are larger cars. I'm not in the tiny little BRZ, but it handles no problem. It's a four-door, roomy, spacious, comfortable car, and I'm practically soaring over these hills, literally. So yeah, it's a blast, and I haven't driven this road in years, and that also is what's contributing to this being so much fun. This car on this road, freaking fantastic. Oh man, talk about a fun way to spend an afternoon. So do I have any complaints about this car? I know at the time I'm just praising these cars, but do I have anything about that I don't like? Well, the brake pedal doesn't have a great feel to me. It's kind of vague, and it's not as precise as I would like it to be. So that's really the only thing, though. That's honestly the only thing that I've noticed in the time that I've driven this car. It's just everything else is spectacular, and just tearing these back roads up, and this car is it's like, okay, what do you got for me next? Like, it just keep going and going. So, yeah, like I said, it makes you feel invincible. It's going to be a little tricky, for newer drivers and stuff, because this car eventually will reach a limit, and I just can't seem to find them. It just keeps giving and giving. The suspension is just so stable. It's really impressive. So yeah, huge thanks to Hans once again for letting me review his brand new car today. Oh man, I'm telling you what, this is by far the best generation of the STI for sure. I mean, yes, it's not as raw as the previous generations, but like I said, it's great induction noise now. I mean, this is the best handling STI ever, hands down, no question about it. And like I said, you still have the same great power plant you've always had, so there's really, like I said, I can't find a single fault with this car aside from its breakdown. I mean, everything. I would rate this car a 99 out of 100. Seriously, it's good. So awesome. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Take care.
Murdering bastard!
What's up, everybody? Sportsworks fan here for another car review. This is, of course, the 2013 Subaru WRX STI. Many thanks to Harrison Auto 6 for having this car review for you guys today. So, about the 2013 STI, why did the 2012 STI Limited? That was the four-door version, and that was several months ago. This version didn't change it, so it's basically the same as the 2012. You'd be amazed how many people ask me to review the hatchback version here. And so this is the five-door hatchback, and I personally like the way this looks better. I think that, you kind of have a shooting brake style silhouette there with the side profile, and I just really love, the rear spoiler and everything. And this one has those red taillight overlays, which I think look really great. Kind of gives it a Maserati Gran Turismo taillight look to it. Really like the way those look. I mean, but otherwise, obviously this car still looks fantastic, and that's a great car. Right to the interior of this car. Well, the first thing you notice is these doors, which to me feel really cheap. They're kind of stiff, the hinges and stuff. Just doesn't feel very high quality. And this is the non-limited, so this is a limited lower brand than the limited 2012 STI that I reviewed. But I think with the STIs, the best way to get them is to get the bare bones version, because it's always going to be a cheaper Subaru, so spending $40,000 on a fully loaded limited with leather seats and stuff just to me doesn't feel worth it. So I think this is the best way to spec one out. This is, the base one. You still get heated seats and things like that, so I mean, it's not like it's totally bare bones. And I mean, these seats are Alcantara and leather, so I mean, they're pretty nice. But first off, while we're talking about these seats, that's the first thing you notice when you sit down in this car is these seats don't really hold you very well. In Japan, the STI has some amazing seats. Here in America, they put these wide seats in because I guess they assume that Americans are larger and we need larger seats. But these seats just don't offer very much support, and I really, really wish that they put better seats in the STIs. Next thing that you notice is this steering wheel, which is really nice. It's a good 9-3 grip, and it's just nicely leather wrapped with the red contrast stitching on it. And you have some buttons here for volume and radio modes. Also has your Bluetooth functions here for voice control and hanging up and picking up a phone call. And so it's a nice wheel though. I like the way it's like the STI logo here in the middle. Gauges in this car also very nice. They're electroluminescent gauges, so they're always illuminated that bright orange. And you have this tachometer front and center there. Coming along to the center console here, again, it's just cheap stuff. This radio, this head unit. If I had an STI, I would personally go to Best Buy and pick up a nice touchscreen head unit, because these ones, the volume knob is very small. The buttons just feel kind of cheap, and it just has a tiny little screen. And if you don't care about audio stuff, then you're not going to worry about that anyway. So controls, they're, fairly okay. Again, this is an Impreza. These aren't upgraded from a standard Impreza, which is $16,000-$17,000. So this is $16,000-$17,000 climate control stuff. So not worthy of the price tag that this car has, but obviously you buy an STI for the performance, not for the interior. So I won't harp on this too much. But everything else, door materials are hard plastic. Everything else kind of feels cheap. For the most part. There are some nice bits. You have this leather here, the same kind of leather you have on the seats you have for your armrest here on the door, and also for the center armrest here. That's nicely padded, so those are nice. It's nice to have that nice padding. But all the other plastic in this car just has a little bit of a cheap feel to it. The storage space in this car is very good. So you have your standard door pockets here, which also have a bottle holder, which is nice. You come along the center here, and you have a nice, deep, big cubby right underneath the climate controls. There's lots of stuff in there. You have your two cup holders here with this nice little cover over top of them, and then you have your center console here, where your USB and auxiliary jacks are. And it's fairly deep. You can fit a good amount of things in there, so you don't have to place with that whatsoever. And if you even look at the back seats, doors have a bottle holder and a little pocket as well, in addition to two cup holders in the middle here. So here's a good storage space even for the backseat occupants, which is rare. While we're talking about the backseat, the backseat space in this car is pretty good. It's not the best out there. There are some compact cars that have better backseats. I think the Honda Civic Si has a more roomier backseat. There's cars like that. But it's plenty to get the job done. You can fit two adults back there comfortably, no problem. They're not going to get in too much. Trunk space in this car is interesting because, being a hatchback, you can fit more stuff in this than you can in the sedan, obviously. But it's not as deep, and this is actually a shorter space than you get in the deep sedan trunk. So, but it's nice, obviously, because you can fold down the seats and have all kinds of space. You can put bikes and things like that in there, and that's the important thing. So this is definitely the more versatile car still. Alright, so let's take it for a drive and see how it does. Now this car is completely stock, so the only thing I think it has is a short throw shifter kit from the STI, because the throws definitely feel shorter than the previous STIs that I've driven. Alright, so setting off the 2013 Subaru WRX STI. So this car, you definitely feel the road. One thing, that I even notice at low speeds is just how good the steering feel is. I can feel every single groove in the road through this wheel, and that's really great. The steering is lighter than I would like, and I'll talk more about that later as well. But, the ride is definitely a little bit on the rougher side. Obviously, this is an STI, and this is a rally car for the street, so you don't expect it to have a buttery smooth ride, and that's okay. That's the type of car this is. Road imperfections, and you feel it all. You feel every single thing. So you can be interested in that regard, but like I said, it's definitely a little bit rougher than your average car. So, it's fun, though. And the whole car just feels very much alive. This car is definitely not a car that'll bore you. Visibility in this car is also very good. You have, the same base as the Impreza, which is, focused on safety. And so you have a huge windshield, you have large side windows, you have the hatchback in the rear, so that whole rear glass is very large. You can see very well out of this car. So, it feels small going down the road, so you don't have to worry about, staying in your lane or anything. It's a very easy car to drive as well. Alright, so let's turn onto this back road here and see how it does. Yeah, this one is quick. So, yeah, this thing was a turbo. It just takes off. Oh man, it's like my vision was blurred for a second going full throttle in this. And that's weird because I drove the ST Unlimited in 2012 and that one didn't feel as fast. I think, this hatchback weighs a little bit less and, not being it's a little bit lighter. I don't think that's a big difference, though. I'm not sure why this one feels faster, but it certainly does. And this is really exciting because, I reviewed a standard 2013 WRX. That car pulled really hard, too, but this just, we have more horsepower, obviously, so it takes it to another level. And it's really impressive. That extra 40 horsepower is hard. If you have the bravery to stick with it all the way up to 6,500 RPMs, this thing really just does move well. So on this back on these curves, and this steering rack is way too light. I've driven, there's the new Audi A4 has a heavier steering rack. This steering rack needs to be way shorter and just a lot heavier to me. So I definitely don't like that. Going around this tight bend, I always go around though and see how it goes. Yeah, you feel some body roll. I'm sorry, I'm a Super WRX fan, but the Evo 10 definitely handles corners better. I like the way the Evo handles much better than the STI. Obviously, that's where the aftermarket comes in. It's very easy to fix with sway bars, spoilers, whatever you want to do. But stock versus stock, the Evo 10 feels way better in corners. Alright, let's see about power, shall we? This thing is cool. Yeah, this car definitely feels fine. This thing is a blast in a straight line. It is tons of fun in corners. But I'm going to try this car out and get a better feel for it and give you my updated impressions. So I've been driving this car for a while now, and I'm gonna tell you, it's not perfect, it's definitely flawed, but this thing just really grows on you. After you drive it for a while, you can't hate this car. Even if you don't like anything about it, you just drive it, it puts a smile on your face, and it just has so much character and personality. It's just such a fun car to do anything with. It can do anything, that's the great thing about it. You can do anything in this thing. It's amazing, and it's so multifaceted. I love that about it. It's one of the reasons why I've always been a WRX fan. And this one is really just, it's so much fun. So yes, there are flaws. For example, this one, for some reason, has really noisy tires. The passenger door has been rattling, and that's been driving me insane. The steering rack is definitely too light. I really wish it had more weight. Like I said, I've driven Honda Civics that have a heavier steering rack than this car. And this is a sporty car. It should have aggressive steering. It should have aggressive seats, and it doesn't. And this one is silent. It's a stock car. It definitely needs to have an exhaust note, and it doesn't. So from the factory, these are far, far from perfect. But man, they are just so charming still. And, it has a lot of really cool features that I've talked about in the 2012 review, but I'll mention it again. This one has the SI drive, which you can switch over into Sport Sharp mode. That gives you faster throttle response. Of course, this car has the adjustable diff in this car, so you can, put more of the power to the rear or to the front or whatever you want to do. And so that's always fun. And so with all the different customizations you can do with this car, to tailor the driving experience to exactly what you want it to be, it's just great. Another great thing about this car is these don't depreciate at all. The resale value on these, if you buy a used one, it's like maybe $1,000 cheaper than a brand new one because it's just, they hold their value so well. You can get a car that's 8 years old, an 8-year-old WRX STI. It's still going for $21,000. And a WRX will still go for the high teens. And that's a car that was only $23,000 or $24,000 brand new. And 8 years later, it's only $5,000 less. It's insane how well they hold their value. So you buy one of these, you know that it's going to be worth a lot for a long time. And especially this hatchback version. Now that for 2015, the STI will no longer be available in a 5-door hatchback like this. this is the last of its kind. Maybe forever, I don't know. I think Subaru will eventually come to their senses and bring the hatchback back. But for the time being, this is the newest version of the 5-door STI that you can get. So for that reason alone, this car is going to hold its value for a long time. So, I mean, these are just really a outstanding bargain in every single way possible. And yeah, the thing is, in addition to all that, the power just never ever gets old. You can just be cruising along in first gear and then just stomp on it and hello! Just fly this. It's insane. It makes my passenger laugh out loud. It's just hilarious because of how fast it is. And this one is stock. I mean, at first I thought it might have something aftermarket going on because it is so quick. It's definitely faster than the 2012 Limited that I reviewed before. I don't know what's going on with this one, but these things just take off. 305 horsepower doesn't sound like a lot in today's crazy supercar world that we live in, but this thing is a rocket ship. I mean, it'll still do 0 to 60 in less than 5 seconds, and I mean, you just tweak the ECU a little bit, and you have 350 horsepower in one of these things, and in a car that only weighs 3,300 pounds, that's a lot. So yeah, I mean, for all those reasons, yes, this car is flawed. The refinement is pretty terrible, to be perfectly honest. There's rattles. It's not a refined car, and these cars retail for around $35,000. There's much nicer cars you can buy for $35,000, but there's not too many faster cars you can buy for $35,000. So if you want speed, you don't care about, niceties in the interior and the way the plastics feel, then this is the car for you, because this thing is just a riot to drive. Absolute awesome time. And so yeah, this one is available if you're interested in it. Harrison Auto Sales has it on their lot now for less than $34,000. It's 2013, like I said. It has around 13,000 miles on it. 1-year-old car, and it's in beautiful condition, and it already has the cool taillight overlays. And it's just ready for a new owner. So and like I said, it's less than $34,000 from their lot. So if you're interested, definitely give them a call and check them out on the website, and they'd be more than happy to help you out. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Take care.
Doris Fletcher seems to be the missing link. It can't just be a coincidence. I should go to her acting school. It's locked, all right.
beast!
There's an open window on the second floor. I should be able to get in through that.
Woe to you, nations of hypocrites. For in front of you stands the tall queen. You can but lower your head, fit only to smirk at her soil.
Can that be Doris Fletcher's voice? Where does it come from?
Alas, poor Doris. I knew her well. And many can testify to her kindness and beauty. For now she hides in shadow, ugly as sin. But when you burn and die, she will rise and be queen again.
I can't believe I'm not doing this.
Who are you? You who dare to enter my realm. Are you here to worship or mock me?
I'm here to put an end to the vampire epidemic, Miss Fletcher.
Ah. But Doris Fletcher is no more. She was consumed by this putrid flesh that now enshrouds her.
You feel anger for what happened to you. But I can help you. I'm a doctor, Miss Fletcher.
Doris Fletcher is no more. All that remains are the dreams of the queen she was, and the queen she'll be. Until then, all shall die, for that was her final wish. Your blood, arise and save your queen. Ah! Your hand is shaking. Touché, sir. On guard. My children, my beloved, die for the love of it. I smell your fear. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Touché, sir. Your hand is shaking. On guard. Woe unto thee, son of Babylon! I summon thee, my children of the night. Your blood will be mine. Your hand is shaking. On guard.
Ah.
I cannot enter. I'm sure Kaloon Russell has no interest in such a conventional menu.
Let's pin him down! There's one of them vermin! You want some of that? You leeches, you can. Steady, boys. We've got one of them. Want some of this?